Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. Friends, our channel is growing with leaps and bounds. We are almost attracting around 20 to 25 new subscribers every week. So I would like to thank all of you, and especially all the initial supporters of the channel, like Inf, Ishkadesh, John Pagakis, Michael Mathoff, and many others. And I'm really grateful that you supported me in my early days and helped me keep this going on. So with that said, you would recollect my constant lament in every Illumina video that they are getting preoccupied with Grail and risk falling behind. As a retail investor, we are limited in what we can do. We have a limited sway on the management. At the most, we can just cast a vote, but we can't mobilize stuff. Today, I want to talk about Illumina and the attention it has drawn from Carl Ichan. We will also discuss some failures that happened in Illumina management leading to this situation. So let's get started. Welcome back, friends. When we started tracking Illumina in this channel, it was valued at more than twice what it is right now. Let's take a brief look at the price chart to see its trajectory and to set a context in the background of which we are going to have our discussion. This is the chart for Illumina in our TradingView platform, and each candle is a one-day candle. And you can see that in the last so many months, from 27th of May onwards, 27th of May 22 onwards, it has been traveling in a range-bound manner. It's been within these two ranges of 260 at the top and somewhere close to around 158 or 152 something in the bottom, and it has been in that narrow range. And if you just go further behind, you will see that somewhere in 2021, 16th of August 21, that's when the fall started, and after that it has not looked up again. In the past, it had reached the high very momentarily of around $555 somewhere around 12th of Feb 2021. But actually, the very last peak was 17th of August 2021 at 526.15, and then there's a big gap down. So the price fell in a hurry. Just keep all these things in mind as I discuss more about this company going forward. But the context is that around 18th of August 2021, while the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, and EU Commission review was still going on, Illumina publicly announced that it had completed its acquisition of Grail. This audacious move to acquire Grail, even before the antitrust proceedings are completed, showed recklessness and got reflected in the share price progressively. So if you see here, this is 18th of August 2021, when the big red candle happened. And then the next day when it opened, on 19th of August, it opened low and it dropped further. Then it picked up a little bit, and since then it has been falling. And with every subsequent assertion by Illumina management that they are going to pursue Grail and they are going to fight penalties and everything, the share price kept falling, especially EU's penalty of 10% of annual turnover of Grail. That really created a lot of negative sentiment for Illumina overall, even though they have made a provision of around $475 million or something for the fines. So that's the background that I want you to remember when we talk about this. Friends, it's not like there is a big moat to protect Illumina in its core business. When I talk about moats, I mean that entry barriers for competitors or unsurmountable technological barrier that gives a lot of protection to this company. Because there are a lot of startups who are actually coming up with really good technology at a very low cost. So basically, it's not like there is a big moat to protect Illumina in its core business. Right now, apart from PSEB and Oxford Nanopore, there are plenty of startups and smaller companies that have bought sub-$100 full human genome mapping to the market. So it is all that more important for Illumina to focus on its core business. At least that is what I have been saying all the while. You take any of my videos on Illumina, this has exactly been my lament throughout. Of course, right now the smaller companies may not make a dent on Illumina because Illumina, having bigger clients who value its scalability, find it convenient to stay with Illumina. The edge won't last long if Illumina doesn't focus on its core business and start working on addressing the competition. Ironically, Grail was spun off from DNA sequencing giant Illumina in 2016 to develop a blood test to detect 50 types of early stages of cancer. On July 5, 2016, Jay Flatley, who had been CEO since 1999, assumed the role of executive chairman of the board of directors at Illumina. And Francis D'Souza took on the role of president and chief executive officer and continues to serve on the Illumina board of directors. In late 2015, Illumina spun off the company Grail, focused on blood testing for cancer tumors in bloodstream. It's not clear to me if it was Jay Flatley or Francis D'Souza who took the decision to spin off Grail. Maybe it was Jay Flatley who took the decision, and probably Francis D'Souza did not agree but didn't do anything about it. We'll never know what was the story. However, it is clear that Francis was in charge when they decided to reacquire Grail, even before the FTC and EU proceedings could be completed. That, I think, was the cardinal sin for Illumina, because that's the point at which the Illumina share started losing value, and it lost value on a consecutive basis every successive trading day, and then it has been on a downturn since then. Did you know that in November 2018, Illumina proposed the acquisition of Pacific Biosciences for $8 per share, or around $1.2 billion in total. In December 2019, the Federal Trade Commission sued to block the acquisitions. The proposed deal was abandoned on January 2, 2020, with Illumina paying Pacific Biosciences a $98 million termination fee. They lost $98 million in the process. In March 2021, the FTC sued to block Illumina's $7.1 billion vertical merger with Grail. In July 2021, the European Commission opened an in-depth investigation into Grail acquisition by Illumina. Against the orders of active investigations by both US Federal Trade Commission and the EU European Commission, Illumina publicly announced it had completed its acquisition of Grail on August 18, 2021. The FTC urged Illumina to unwind the merger shortly after, and in October 2021, the European Commission ordered Illumina to keep Grail a separate company and adopted interim measures to prevent harm to competition, or face a penalty of up to 5% of their average daily turnover and or fines up to 10% of their annual turnover worldwide under Article 15 and 14 of the EU merger regulation respectively. In September 2022, a US administrative judge ruled against the FTC's efforts to prevent the acquisition on antitrust grounds. As you can see, guys, while the industry was busy perfecting the sub-$100 human genome sequencing system, Illumina was squandering its lead and has been mired in the Grail acquisition issue. In their quest to acquire for growth, they have not only lost $98 million to PACB, but also have lost a lot of lead and money around Grail. I am excited that Carl Ichan has entered the fray to place 3 directors on the board to put a check on this obsession. Typically, I am not in favor of activist investors because, let us face the fact, no one does anything altruistically. They do it for their own benefit. Here we have a great company with excellent patents and industry leadership squandering its lead. Seems Illumina has a lack of imagination and feels that they need to acquire and stifle competition in order to keep the lead. In this context, when you look at shareholder wealth that was destroyed in the process, I think it is time for the CEO to go, and probably Carl Ichan can unlock some value for us retail investors. It's also questionable that the board of Illumina did not put any checks on the CEO while all these proceedings happened. Even now, they're objecting to Carl Ichan having 3 board members. The inaction on part of the board has put Illumina in a very vulnerable position, in my opinion. Whenever an activist investor takes over, it's like asking for trouble for any management. I hope that when Carl Ichan is done, we still have some life left in Illumina, and it can continue pushing the technology of genomic sequencing and deliver even better products. Please let me know what you guys think about Illumina, and what do you think about my opinion on what has happened, my analysis. I would be very glad to hear from you, and maybe I could learn a few things. So please do not forget to put it in the comments below, and let's have an interaction on that. That's all from me for you, my friends. I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.